Tips to dominate your fantasy league.
Part 4.
Stream the quarterback position.
More like tips to lose your fucking league. It's so frustrating seeing analysts with 100,000+ followers corrupting so many fantasy gamers by giving out suboptimal advice. Streaming quarterbacks is fine. You can make it work if you have to, but by no means should that be your intended strategy. And maybe this was good advice back in like 2015, but things have changed quite a bit since then. The point of the late round quarterback strategy is not to say fuck the position and just stream every week. The point is to hit on a guy late who can have a big season. See Lamar Jackson in 2019 or Josh Allen in 2020. That's where you get the big advantage. A study done by TJ Hernandez of 4for4 discovered that quarterback 10 from 2015 to 2019 averaged about 18 fantasy points per game, while the quarterback 20 averaged about 16. So it's about a 2-point difference. But in 2020, the QB 10 averaged about 21 fantasy points per game, while the QB 20 still averaged about 16. That's a big difference from the previous 5 years. This means it's a lot harder to find those undrafted waiver wire quarterbacks who can hit those top 12 numbers on a given week, which makes it a lot harder to find guys to stream. Well, why is this? What has changed? Well, the quarterback position has evolved. We've always known that rushing quarterbacks provide an edge in fantasy football, but we used to get either efficient passers or good runners. But now we have quarterbacks who can do both at a very high level. For example, the top 10 quarterbacks in 2020, they averaged 417 rushing yards on the season, where quarterbacks 11 through 20, they averaged 164. Quarterbacks ran 2,000 times last year. That's the first time that number has ever been hit. 7 of the top 8 quarterbacks in fantasy points per game ran at least 55 times. The only one who didn't was Aaron Rodgers, who threw for 1 million touchdowns to make up for it. To stream quarterbacks effectively, you have to be able to predict which waiver wire quarterbacks are going to have a big game in any particular week. It's doable, but quarterback rushing production is far more predictable than passing yards and especially touchdowns. And that translates to our fantasy drafts too, which is why we see all these rushing quarterbacks coming off the board early, which in turn makes it harder to find these late breakout quarterbacks and, of course, streamers.